We are live.
Huh?
Welcome, everybody, to the Funny Shrink podcast. I'm Mike Cateo, and this is my lovely co host, Frank King.
Yeah, quit hitting on me. That's,
You love it. I,
I do. I do.
Frank was worried about coming on screen because he was worried he didn't look pretty enough. I told him he looks gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I look good in a hat. I must admit that.
I said if I wasn't married, I'd hit it up myself.
That's,
Um, You know what happened last night is well, a couple of things happened. I ended up sitting on a rolling chair that kept rolling and I fell off and hit my head.
oh,
Got a huge bump and got dizzy right away and was worried. So we went to the urgent care center and I got an x-ray, my head's fine, my skull looks healthy. Who knew? and and then I got a COVID test and an antibiotic for what I think is a sinus infection. So I got all my bases covered.
did you test negative for COVID?
Well, I'll find out in a couple of days.
Okay.
It's not a rapid test, and then when we were home, I was eating these sweet dried pineapples
Yeah, I've had those.
from Great Value. It's a brand. And I said, oh my God, I love these. If I wasn't already married, I would marry this. So Jeanette said, hold on, I'll grant you a divorce. And he wrote on a piece of paper, I, Jeanette Jambier Cateo, grant Michael Cateo a divorce.
So we can marry pineapple.
Oh, I can marry the pineapple. We're gonna be so happy together. I married someone who's just as sick as me, and I love it.
Yep, she is delightful.
All right, so why don't we bring on our guest?
Yes, and it's John Mew. And, I was trying to think how John and I actually got introduced, and I cannot for the life of me remember. It may have been through his life coach, a lovely woman. And John, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, living in Scotland. I think is it Scottish? I believe the Scottish is correct, not Scotch.
He's shaking his head no. I could
No.
see.
Irish? No.
He
No.
lives in London. He lives in something by Tyne or Tyne by something.
On the Thames, around the Thames, probably. Thames. Anyway, John and you and I share mental illness, the birds of a feather. John raises a great deal of money for folks who I believe it's for people who are dealing with PTSD. And he has a story. He himself is dealing with PTSD because of his time in the military. He was in the war in the Falklands way back when. And he's got quite the story to tell on that trip down south. So without further ado, here's John Mew.
Yay, John Mew!
Hello, hi. By the way, Frank, it's Newcastle upon Tyne.
Upon time. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just below the Scottish border.
And where are you from originally?
Newcastle upon Tyne.
Oh, okay. So what are you? So you're British. You're not Scottish. You're British.
Sorry, you were breaking up a bit there.
Are you English? Is that what you qualify?
Yes, I'm English, born and bred, Newcastle upon Tyne.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do we meet? I cannot recall.
It was you had I think you had a podcast or something with Polly Brennan.
Oh yes,
and she brought my name into it as part of her, you could say, her story.
Yes.
And that's how it came about, basically.
Yes, and are you still seeing her as a coach?
Yeah, I'm still seeing her a lot.
Okay.
It's a bit different at the minute, obviously, because of COVID, but
yeah,
we keep in touch, once a week, have a good chat, and if I've got anything I want to talk about, I can talk. So it's good. It's really good.
And it's a particular charity that you raise money for? Is it a particular nonprofit?
Initially the charity I started with was Ford Assist. It's It's a veterans charity. It's local, and they help me through a lot. But I also do it for actually the Newcastle Falcons Foundation.
Yes.
Because they're very sport minded, and they do a lot of sort of mini rugby coaching for underprivileged, for the kids, you know.
Mhm.
And it's just, they invited me along to a do on it was Armistice Day, and they had a lot of different veterans charities there. They had games on, and they had there was 4 or 5 different charities, and they heard what I was planning to do, and they said they'd like to help me to train for it. So they helped me actually train for the SES selection route in Pennyfine, Wales. They got nothing out of it, but they helped me with the training, so they were really, really good. The charities I did it for was SAFA and Forward Assist. I think I raised about £6,500–7,000.
Wow.
Yes. And you did it by like climbing a mountain range with a backpack full of rocks or something, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't full of rocks, but it was heavy. It was 35 pound in weight.
Yes, and it's a long walk uphill mostly.
At the age of 61.
Whoa!
But
I've heard that story, uphill through the snow both ways. I've heard that.
The first 2 miles is I think it's about 2,000 feet.
Wow!
So
wow!
It's a big slog right from the start.
I guess so.
But then
John,
you've got another 14 miles on top of that, 13 miles on top of that. Then you've got to come back.
Wow. John, I have a question. Newcastle, it sounds very fancy. Are you fancy? What's
No, I'm just a normal person.
I wouldn't go that far, John.
Well,
I wouldn't go that far. Tell us about your military service. You began in one capacity, I think, and you had.
I joined up in 74, 75. I wanted to be a physical training instructor. That was my goal, but I had to do something else to get sort of sea time, learn basically being a sailor. So I did that. I was a radar plotter, and then I went from there. I actually did the field gun at Earl's Court. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it was a military tattoo where you take 12-pounder field guns over an obstacle course. It originated from the Boer War, Battle of Ladysmith, where the sailors had to carry the guns over land, but they broke. Oops, bit of a tilt there. They broke, so they had to manhandle them. It turned out, obviously, we won the war basically as such, but it was a tradition. So a 12-pounder field gun, the actual barrel weighs about 900 pounds.
Oh God!
It's the whole thing's about 1.5 tons, and you basically dismantle it, put it back together. The wheels weigh 120 pounds each. There's a lot of stuff on field gun on YouTube. But we broke the record in '84, which stood until 1999. So I did that, and then I went straight on to doing my PT course as a physical training instructor.
Right.
But I did do the field gun again, but that was a couple of years later. But I did my PT course. I went to a place called HMS Daedalus once I'd qualified. I did 18 months there, 2 years nearly, and I got my first sea draft, which was HMS Coventry, so I was really excited about it. We had a big exercise in Gibraltar, and then all of a sudden the Falklands War started and I went south.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that was it.
What does that mean? You went south?
To the Falkland Islands.
Oh, like literally
the Falklands War.
Yeah,
went
the
to
Falklands War. Literally went
basically-
south. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, we thought, um, never heard of the Falklands. Who? Where's that? Top of Scotland? Wrong. 30,000
no.
miles away.
Lots of sheep.
So we basically went down there. We had to get ready for everything, prepare for war. And then basically the 1st of May, 82, we went to war. And then all hell let loose.
Yeah, you saw action there, did you not?
Yes, I was on the commentary. We were basically a picket ship. We were ahead of the task force all the time. We would guide the Sea Harriers into combat. We could pick up aircraft 45 mile away and lock on with missiles and basically take them out.
Oh.
Yep. So we did that a lot. We were accompanied by another boat, the Broadsword. She was like you could say our sister ship.
Yeah.
We were long range. She was short range. So if anything got too close, she would sort of take over, because she had the capacity to actually take out missiles. So they could lock onto a missile and take it out.
Oh.
At very, very close range.
So
sorry.
You took fire, did you not?
Yeah, we basically we were hit by 3 1,000-pound bombs. We capsized in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Was one bomb forward, one midships, one aft.
How are they delivered? How do they, from an aircraft?
No, yeah, it was I think they were Skyhawks.
Okay.
And basically what they did was, because it was the beachhead landing, we were close to shore. We were brought in closer and we were used as a decoy.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah.
So obviously, because if the beach landing didn't go ahead, there would be no war. It would be over.
Yeah.
So we were sort of like a decoy. But we picked up the aircraft. We were north of the Falklands. The aircraft went south of the Falklands. They came through the bay and we were only a couple of miles out, and they came straight for us. By the time we'd found them or got the contacts, it was basically small arms fire from our deck.
Wow.
The Broadsword picked them up, but because they were that close, we had to alter course, and then we broke the lock from the Broadsword. So the aircraft came straight in, and there was 4 bombs. The first bomb bounced over the bridge. I was on the bridge.
Whoa.
I thought that was it, but obviously it wasn't. But the second bomb went in below me. Third bomb, the next bomb went in midships, and then the last one went in up. They basically all exploded. 20 minutes, we were upside down.
And
So
how'd you get out?
I literally had to run up the side of the bridge.
Right.
Because she was going over. I ran down the other side of the ship because she'd gone over that far, and I ended up in the life raft. But because it was turned over that much, I actually caught my once only suit on one of the stabilizers. That ripped, so when I got into the water, I just filled with water. I was absolutely drenched, freezing cold water.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into a life raft because it was too full, so I had to basically sit on the side of it and hang on. I had to push people away from it because we couldn't get any more in.
Oh boy,
that wasn't nice.
No,
that was one of the big issues that I had, but I've come to terms with that one. But as you went over, the actual life raft went forward, and then it came down the other side, the port side, the side the ship was going down.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the life raft got caught on one of the missiles that was on the launcher.
Oh boy!
And it pierced it. So basically, the life raft was going down with the ship. We all had to get out.
That sounds super scary.
It was scary, but you don't sort of realize at the time because you were so engrossed in what you were doing, but there was a part of your brain wasn't working properly, you know. And it wasn't until we were actually picked up and you know, got sorted out, it actually hit you, and that's when the tears just totally flooded everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then we were taken from there back to South Georgia, and then back to came back home on the QE2. But it was
Who rescued?
Wow.
Sorry?
Wow.
Who rescued you from the water after the lifeboat sank?
I was in the water for a while, and then the Broadsword sent some of her boats along, little cutters, Gemini boats, and I managed to get into one of the boats. I was taken to the Broadsword, had to climb up like the ship's ladder on the side to get on board. I was taken to one of the messes there. I don't know, it was the wardroom or the chief's mess. We were given a tot of rum straight away, and then they had to find us clothes to wear because we were absolutely frozen.
Yeah.
So we were getting, you know, trainers that were a little bit too small, a bit too big. Some didn't have laces in, but it was just warm clothing.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll see. So that was it.
Well, and John, on a lighter note, I got to tell you, I've been to Argentina a number of times.
Yep.
And when you enter Argentina as a Canadian, a Brit, or an American, you have to pay a fee.
Yep.
Nobody else does.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I said to the, the gentleman who was taking the money, the cruise ship reimburses me, but you have to pay. I said, it's odd that only the Brits, the Canadians, and the U.S. have to pay a fee, you know, in the new century. You guys are holding a grudge a little too long, I think.
No.
Yeah.
I don't hold a grudge. But I mean, I remember once when I was at home, I went to a nightclub and there was a lot of Argentinians in there, and some of my friends were saying, "Oh, we better leave here," and I said, "No, it's fine. No, it's okay. No." So I managed to keep myself calm, but no, you know, it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they told that they were like military as well. So if they're told to do it, they've got to do it.
Well, do you have hard feelings about Margaret Thatcher? Because she's the one that declared war. Was she not?
I've got no hard feelings, but I know things went on, and I know in a way about politics. They do things for certain things, but I mean, I'm not really keyed up on that. I'm not going to argue with it, but I sometimes think, we didn't really have to do it, but we did. So I can't turn the clock, so I just leave it. Yeah. So.
And what are your sort of coping skills besides working with that lovely life coach?
What I've learned about myself. I mean, when I finished the Navy, I went commercial diving. Now, I found that therapeutic. However, when I look back at it and think of certain things, I was actually isolated, right? And that's the way I wanted to be. I was doing 12-hour shifts, but at nights I was on my own. I was training all the time. When I came home, it was a little bit like coming home on leave from the military. But obviously it wasn't as strict as such. But I realised when I left the diving, I just totally collapsed, went downhill. And then it was, I realised certain things. I got help. They didn't look at PTSD. They didn't even want to go back that far. Depression, anxiety, that went on for a long time. And then it wasn't until I'd basically, you could say, taken an overdose. I was in the hospital and they looked at my records and, whoa, what's this? PTSD, what's this? Falklands, military? Ooh, possibly. So I was checked up. And I was assessed and I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Wow.
So it took a long time. And yes, I went through alcohol. I went through lots and lots of things. But it was the fitness, the sport, the adrenaline rush from diving. I think that kept me on the straight and narrow. But it was when all that stopped, I just completely went downhill. So, and then it's all sort of, everything started from then. You know, it's
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get through something like that. You know, I want to tell you, you're one of our biggest fans. Like you're on this podcast every week. You're listening in.
I try to listen in, you know, whenever I can, as much as possible.
We appreciate that. And
Yes.
you know, part of why I love having you on is you went through so much, and your resiliency is really it's by far the greatest sense of resiliency I've seen.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, yes, I do struggle. I struggle with lots and lots of different little things, but I learn a lot of things as well. I mean, when once I was diagnosed, I had more issues, so I actually went for the REMDR, the rapid eye movement.
Oh yeah,
right.
And they actually brought up my childhood, and basically they were very interested in. I was adopted as a child, so obviously that could have affected me in certain ways with certain things. And it probably has done as well. Not that I knew anything about that. I didn't realise. I knew I was adopted. I knew I had family, but in effect, when I look back, I could turn around and say, well, actually, I was totally different to, you know, mum and dad who brought me up, and I might have had issues then, but I joined the military, and I came from a military background, so I fitted in very well.
Yeah.
And I've just gone on with it. But once we started REMDR, they were interested in sort of my love life, who I was more friendly with. And to be honest, I think I tend to spend more time around the women rather than men. And it might have something to do with the bond I didn't have because I was given up. Do I have issues about that? No, I don't. But it's all something in your mind that, well, actually, you know, do I feel guilty? Why did she give me up? So I've actually met my blood sisters.
Wow.
And we still talk. And she sort of, or one of them, Annie, she tells me little bits all the time, not everything at once, just little bits to say what, you know, about what went on. I mean, I was given up. Mum and dad couldn't cope with me. That's why I was given up as a child, but I was later found out that my father had left my mum. You know, and it goes on and on and on. So there's lots of things going on in my head about these sort of things. And I can speak to Polly about it. I can speak to Ford Assist. I think I need to go and see, you know, somebody else soon. Because I've just had a bad time lately. But I've always got Polly. I've always got Ford Assist. They're always there to help. So, you know, and they're a great group of people to turn to.
You've also spoken to Parliament, have you not?
Yes, but when I was at Ford Assist, one of the first things that they got me to do was join a debating society with other veterans, and they taught us how to do basically a debate. It was basically to try and get me to have more confidence, self-confidence, to get out and speak about things. So we ended up going to Parliament, and Ford Assist did like a little presentation at Parliament for lots of different MPs, and I was brought up with a poem that I wrote, which unfortunately I don't have with me now, but that poem has gone everywhere. And then the next time I went to Parliament, it was after I'd done the fan dance. After I'd done the fan dance, I was put forward by Newcastle Falcons Rugby for an award, the Aviva Premiership Achiever Award, for what I've done for charity and sport, because I was getting involved with my local rugby club. I was nominated, went to Parliament, and I got the Runners-Up Medal Award.
Oh.
Yep. So I got that one. So I've been there twice.
See, you are fancy. You are.
What happened after that? The following year, I did another walk. It was Hadrian's Wall from West Coast to East Coast, Carlisle to Newcastle. It's 86 miles. I had the Bergen on. I had the Bergen on. I did it in 3 days, and the actual walking time was 31 hours.
And the Bergen had the 35 pounds of...
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I did that, and because I did that, SAFA, the Soldier Sailor Air Force Association, they'd heard what I'd been doing, and because I raised the money for them when I did the SES selection route, they invited me to be an ambassador on board the SGS Lord Nelson on a trip to Normandy to commemorate D-Day landing. So I went there I did that last year with them. That was great, but we didn't get there because we hit gale force 11 winds. So we had to turn back.
Did you have any issues being on a ship again?
No, I didn't have any issues being on the ship. I thought I would. My watch sort of commander or boss was, she was the one who actually vetted me on the voyage. She was a psychologist, but she was there to meet me. The first thing I did say to her was, I am not looking forward to the fire alarms going off.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Because you have to do the test. So she sat next to me, held my hand. I got through it okay, but most of the other people on there were sort of ex-veterans as well, different issues, different problems. So it went well. It went okay, but I managed to actually climb to the top of the mast, the button buoy right at the top, and did a salute. So I was quite happy with that. So, and I'm looking at another challenge this year, but I've got to wait and see. Obviously, because of the COVID.
Yeah, hard to get together in large groups, even outdoors.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, what I've decided, what I'm looking at doing is, I did a lot of training on the west stand of Newcastle Falcons, for the SES selection route. So what I've said was, I'm going to do it for the Doddy Weir Foundation this time, for motor neuron disease. You probably won't know him, but he's an ex-Scottish rugby player, British Lion. He's got motor neuron disease, and it's called My Name's Doddy, the foundation. So I'm going to do it for him or his foundation, and I'm going to attempt 60,060 steps up and down the west stand of Newcastle Falcons ground with the 35-pound Bergen on my back.
And how old are you now, John?
63.
Okay.
So I'm going to attempt it, but I can't give a date yet because at the minute the Kingston Park Stadium's closed due to COVID. So I've got a date set because the Doddy Weir Foundation's got my challenge on their sort of pages, but I'm not actually putting it out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
People can find it, they can see it, they can donate, but I'm not actually putting it on Facebook. I'm not pushing it out or anything like that until I can confirm the date and I can start training. So then it goes back to what keeps me going, which you asked earlier. It's
Yeah.
the power of sport. It's the power of sport. Because every time I'm involved with a challenge, I get a buzz. Every time I'm with my local rugby club, I get a buzz. And every time I meet Polly, I get a buzz. And I've sort of said to her, you know, every time I'm doing these sort of things, I'm always meeting people who are interested or positive. So I'm always around positive people. And it keeps me away from the negative side of things, because my negativity can go down very rapidly. So it's the power of sport that keeps me going.
Is it more difficult during the pandemic?
It is, but sometimes I could turn around and say, well, actually, I was on a warship for 6 months at sea, you know, confined to a small space. So yes, I can find things to do, but I can't find the things I really want to do. Sort of like get out and get in the hills and do my sport and do what I want to do. So yeah, it's a struggle. That's why I've had a few really bad downs lately, but I've got the right people behind me, so I just turn to them.
So,
That was one of the reasons why I pulled out of that Zoom with you the other day, Frank.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You know, the one that I didn't turn up when you were talking about the book.
Yes. And by the way, Mike is in the book as well.
So I was going to do it, but I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. So I told Sally and I couldn't make it. So, but never mind. There's always another one.
Well, and if anybody would understand, Sally would understand.
So it sounds like you still struggle with a lot of the issues you've had in the past, right?
I think so. Yes. It's more so because I've got other things going on at the minute. I mean, my wife's got bipolar, my son's got ADHD, so there's always contention in the house. So that is always a struggle, but we just have to keep on going. Dig deep. Sometimes it's harder than others. Sometimes it's great.
Is it your first wife?
Sorry.
First wife?
Sorry.
Is it your first wife?
Oh yes, that's 30 years. Oh yes.
Wow.
Yep, 30 years.
And you have the one son? You have the one son?
You're breaking up.
How many children do you have?
Also, I've got three children: a daughter, and 2 sons.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, they're lovely. And of course, my daughter's got a partner, and we've got a grandson, and we've got another 2 another grandchild on its way.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yep. So I'm quite happy. So that keeps me going as well.
Congrats, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call you?
Eh?
What do they call you?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've got one. Well, my grandson's only 18 months, so it's like Pa. Pa. But it'll come. But he's lovely.
Little kids can really make you laugh.
Oh, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
So where can people find out more about you, John?
Oh, I mean, if anybody was to Google my name and put PTSD, because I haven't got anything set up or anything, that, because I'm still in 2 minds at the minute, and plus because I just want to get this coronavirus out of the way,
Yeah.
But I mean, you can actually Google me and put PTSD, Falklands War, and Hadrian's Wall, and there's loads and loads of stuff, and it all comes up.
Yeah, that's Google.
Yeah, all sorts. I mean, there's photographs of me from years ago. You can type in my name and put HMS Coventry, the Falklands War, PTSD, and Field Gun, and it all comes up because they all seem, for some reason or other, they all seem to be interlinked.
Yeah.
So you get one, you get the other. I've done a couple of other podcasts with different people, Chris Thrall and Ian Farrar. Chris Thrall, he's an ex-Royal Marine. He did a podcast with me, and I think that got 3,500 hits, I think.
All right. Didn't I set you up with him?
I think so. Well, it was either that. Yes, it was, because it was Ian Farrar, who was another one who did similar. That was through Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it's really good.
As you know, John, as you know, this podcast is about using humor. So what makes you laugh?
Oh, to be honest, I think it's my grandson most, because it's just so funny watching him do things. That's why my kids call me Grumpy. You know, yeah, but it's. I think a lot of the time I'm really, really stressed out with lots and lots of things, but I can have a good chuckle when I'm out more with my rugby people, because there's all sorts going on, and it's absolutely hilarious. Some of the stuff that goes on Facebook, you know, and then of course I'm still on Facebook with a lot of ex-military people, and some of their humor is really good, you know. So it's a wide range of lots and lots of different things. I love cartoons, to be honest. You know, the old-fashioned cartoons where Tom and Jerry, you know.
Oh Lord.
You know, yeah, because I think it's so funny, because it's ridiculous.
Yes.
They get away with it, but it's just so comical.
My wife and little girl got me a Tom and Jerry T-shirt for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know it's so, but no, there's just all sorts of things make me laugh, but I think it more so it's my grandson.
I love kids. I love when they're so young they don't talk back. That's my favorite.
Well, it is. I mean, you know, we can have a good bit of fun, and when become a pain in the backside, you give them back to your daughter. You know.
Yes.
But
I don't have that language.
Well, you can hand them back.
Yes.
My wife has a 7-year-old, and we just got married in October, and we've been living together 3 years. And me and this little girl have gone through ups and downs, where she loved me initially, then we moved in and she hated me, and you know. So, and it's so funny. He is just like me when I was a little kid. So every time I get angry, I'm like, I hate this about myself.
Yeah, but no, I think they're great. They're lovely, you know. So
they are awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way.
No. So
well, and please tell Polly I said hello.
I will do. Yeah, I'll be in touch with her the next couple of days.
Okay. And thanks for contributing to the book, John.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing it. I was funny enough. I mentioned it to Sally because I was talking about Ford Assist, the veterans charity that helped me, and they basically said to me, once they know about it, whatever it is, when it's coming out, they want to promote it through them.
Oh, great.
Or their, how can I put it, their network.
Yeah.
Because I know Tony, the boss there. I don't know if you've heard of it. Is it Bowie in West Virginia?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Well, he's actually some of the money that I raised when I did the SES selection group paid for somebody to go over there from the UK.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes. So he's been over there quite a few times, you know, because when he can, he'll send veterans over there for help.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
Well, you're doing good work, John.
He was going to send me, but because I'd already been to Scotland, he decided against it because it's sort of like two different types of treatment.
Ah,
So if I hadn't have had if I'd been diagnosed and I hadn't gone to combat stress up in Scotland, I could have possibly gone to that border retreat.
yeah.
So, but no, he wants to put it out in his circle.
Sweet.
To help raise awareness.
Yes, on men's mental health.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the work you do and for coming on the podcast.
I'd like to do more, but I've got to be in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, and I think once the pandemic eases up, it'll be a little easier, I imagine.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping. You never know. I mean, it's also. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing sort of how the book gets on as well, and
yes,
see if anything comes of it. If you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe I just realized I forgot about that meet and greet. Oh my God. So for the listeners out there, John, Frank, and we wrote pieces for this book, and they had a holiday meet and greet, and I had it, and I had all intentions of going and seeing the other writers, and I'm such a ditz. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We'll see.
There'll be another.
So
good. But,
yeah, he's brain damaged. Did you know that, John?
Yeah.
Twice. I fell yesterday. Twice.
Well,
all right.
I'm probably brain damaged through field gun as well. So
yeah,
some of the things that happened there were pretty hard.
And
we all got it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
yeah, and for the benefit of the listeners, a 12-pounder, that's not a gun that weighs 12 pounds. That's a projectile weighs 12 pounds. Correct, John?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
The gun you said weighs a ton and a half.
I know, 12, but the actual barrel weighs about 900 weight.
Wow.
The carriage part weighs 350 pounds, and the two wheels weigh 120, 130 pounds each.
Yeah, you guys had to carry that in pieces.
And
12 pounds.
six of us threw it over a 6-foot wall.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to look at it, just Google field gun.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you'll see it all there.
I imagine if I Google feel good up here, I'll get porn ads.
Well, you never know. I don't know.
I love.
Yeah.
No, you just Google field gun or Royal Tournament field gun.
Wow.
And it will come up loads.
Will do.
Well, thanks, John.
Right, lovely.
Have a great day, and we're going to end the podcast, but don't go anywhere, all right?
Sorry?
Don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. We're going to end the podcast.
Right,
So,
okay.
Bye, everyone.
Don't hang up, John.